being sappy isn't a bad thing. So, I'm not a very patient person, and most of the things that I go through with my heart, and my head tells me, maybe think about that a little bit more, but I just go, okay? And I'd like to think of myself as an open book because I share my feelings with other people, and if somebody asks me, are you okay, and I'm not okay, I'm gonna tell them I'm not okay, and I would like your support. I think that's what people should do. I think it's good to be honest and open with your feelings so that you can help other people and that they can help you if you need help. There's nothing wrong with going to somebody else, and there's no shame in needing help with an issue, especially if it's eating away at you and consuming your thoughts constantly, day through day. Talk to somebody about it. I know it's not easy for a lot of people, but if I live by that, it makes life so much more pleasant for me because then I don't have to worry about hiding anything. I don't have to worry about feeling shameful or embarrassed about how I feel about something. And I don't have to be embarrassed because I need to talk to somebody about that thing. It makes my relationship stronger and it makes communication flow a lot more smoothly. But I also get called dramatic, melodramatic, overdramatic, variations of such very, very often because when I look at a problem, I tend to think in the grand scheme. This is what matters, and you should do what feels right and what makes you happy as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else. You should stay true to you and do what you want. And because I live by that philosophy and I incorporated into pretty much all the advice I've ever given to any of my friends, I get called dramatic because I have to look at things pragmatically and realistically, and I have to examine that the real world isn't necessarily going to fit into ideological perspectives that I might offer. Okay, true. Ideological perspectives aren't necessarily the best solution for everything, but I'm not saying you shouldn't look at things realistically. I'm saying follow your heart, okay? As cheesy as that sounds, there's nothing wrong with caring. There is absolutely nothing wrong with caring. One of the major problems I see in today's society, and I'm not trying to be a hipster here, but it's kind of a trendy thing now to not care about something or to be aloof or to pretend to be that way. Maybe that's because of the influence of the media and people wanting to act like they're characters who are so cool and everybody looks up to them and they just don't care. It doesn't matter. It's okay to care. And I'm not saying that you should be worried about everybody else's opinions of you at all times, because my other belief is that you shouldn't really care. You should do your best to try and be you. You should try yourself. You should try your best to be you regardless of what other people think and regardless of whether they approve or not. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else and it makes you happy, you shouldn't care what they think. Do you. But this type of caring is different. The type of caring I'm talking about is just caring about anything, your passions and everything. If somebody, this is not just in practice, just you being you, but in your behavior towards other people. If somebody really, really cares about something, if somebody watches Gossip Girl 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's not necessarily healthy, but if they love it, if they love Gossip Girl and they want to talk about Gossip Girl sometimes, yes, you should be wary and you should say, okay, we've been talking about Gossip Girl for half an hour. I need a break. That's fine. But don't crush their dreams, okay, man? How would you feel if you loved Gossip Girl and you just wanted to watch Gossip Girl and talk about Gossip Girl with your friends and one of your friends just goes, I don't care? Or when people are on their phones when they're talking to you, they're just looking down at their phone, they're like playing a game or they're texting or whatever and they won't make eye contact with you. I know people like that. I know people who sneer at me when I'm talking to them and then they look back at their phone. I think that's cowardly. I think they don't want to make eye contact with me and I think they don't want to have a conversation with me. Don't do that to other people. Don't look at your phone. Give your attention to somebody else. And if they love something and you couldn't care less about it, fine. You don't have to tell them that. Try and entertain their passions a little bit, because I know that I would want somebody to try and entertain my passions a little bit. If I want to talk about a book, I have very few Harry Potter friends who I can talk about it in depth with, but I have a couple, and if I mention it to somebody else, they'll go, I don't care, fine, whatever. It doesn't affect me, but I know that if I didn't have any Harry Potter friends, my life would be a lot lonelier. So, just basically show other people that you're willing to listen to them, even if you don't care, even if it doesn't mean anything to you. Be open. And don't be afraid to care about something yourself. Don't be afraid to exercise your passion, and try not to be crushed yourself if somebody blows you off, says, I don't care, looks at their phone instead of making eye contact with you, or just does not want to have a conversation with you. Bounce back from it. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't reflect you at all. It's them. It's them. It's like when somebody says, I love you, or I hate you. They say nothing about you and who you are and what you do as a person and how you feel and how you think. That is entirely about their perception of you and who they are as a person and what they feel and what they do and what they think. Now, be cautious of who you are as a person. Do what is right, but within reasonability. Think about how it affects other people, but don't dwell on it. It shouldn't compose your entire life. It's okay to care. It is perfectly fine to care. And nobody should be able to convince you that you are wrong for caring about something, instead of fitting into society's perceptions of what is good and how aloof is attractive. You're a person, and if you have a passion, show it. You don't have to hide it. Be yourself. That's just a small rant. Hopefully, if this is viewed, somebody will be touched by it. Signing out.